different. I did. I did. I did to be different. I did to be different. Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much again for tuning in to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaya Diamond. I had to do that because I feel so good that 2020 is here. We are moving in our purpose. We are actually going for those resolutions. Am I right? Okay, don't even try it. Okay, don't even tell me that you haven't done anything because I don't want to hear it because you have been listening to Dream Chasers Radio. I am bringing you inspirational content one by one by one. So every night, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m., you should be tuning in to get your daily dose, okay, of inspiration from all the people around the globe who are doing exactly what they set out to do. And there are no excuses for you. You need to just get up off of your bum and do it. Do it now. You can get us on iTunes, Spreakers, Spotify, where else? Google Play, Deezer, TuneIn. Come on, any place where podcasts are. You can get us in your radio, in your home, on your computer, and on your phone. There is no excuses, and I don't want to hear it. 2020 is going to be your year just as much as it's going to be our year because I have a great recording artist on the show today. And let me tell you something. There are no excuses. None. And I want him to introduce his own self because, I'm going to mess up. And you guys know how bad I am with names. Just go ahead. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for being on the show. Please tell everybody who you are and what you do, please.
Yes, how you doing? This your boy C. Beasy. I'm a recording artist from Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, Chi-Town. That's my brother. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, indeed.
Definitely. I mean, I shouldn't even ask this question because most of the people from Chicago, especially South Side Chicago or the industrial side where BB King and all those famous blues artists were, because you just go down into the building in the basement and that's where usually they were performing like any given time, at any given weekend. But how did you get started in music? It's the stupidest question for a shy Chicago person, but go ahead.
So how did I get started in music?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think the inspiration definitely came, just because I was born in that '90s era of R&B and music. So really, before I started rapping, I was actually singing. I think that inspiration really came from my mom or being in church and hearing that choir and just hearing a whole variety of different type of musics. I think that I always had a connection with music, probably from, the day of birth. I'm starting to think just my connection is real deep. I was just heavily into, some of the old school things back in the day. So I used to just, kind of put on any kind of beat or any type of music, and I was just write and write and write. And started practicing, rhyming my words and, practice some freestyles and, just, I always was a writer, so music just was, it was just something that I just really gravitated to. It helped me get through life. It helped me just to clear my mind. It's like a medication almost. So it definitely came from, my mom. She was singing back then, and I kind of picked up on that, and I just, took it to another level. So, that's kind of, short backstory of, how I really, got started with that.
Right. Being that you are from Chicago, it is such a tradition, and I have to say this, it's such a tradition for any kid that's raised in Chicago to be in music. I'm sorry. I mean, it's synonymous with music. It's like, oh, you were born in Chicago? Okay, so what facet of the music industry are you in? It's just, to me, that's just the way it kind of came out. But
Yeah.
tell me, when it comes to your music, when it comes to things like this, or when it comes to the business of music, I mean, what are you doing to, progress your career in that aspect? Because I think even though we are musicians or we singers or
Right.
rappers, the business side of it is even more essential than the actual performance
Right.
side.
See, me being an independent artist, what I do is everything is through me. It's more of networking and really reaching out to people and letting people reach out to me.
Mhm.
So everything goes through me. It's a non-stop grind and hustle on the people that you're connecting with. Anything and anybody who's attached to music, doesn't matter what genre is, you connect with them.
Mm.
That's what I do.
Mhm.
People need to know who I am, and I'm still trying to do that. I reach out to people, whether it be singers, whether it be rappers, and like I said, any kind of genre. It doesn't matter. I think that part of it is what really helps to boost who I am, and just boost my music and boost getting myself out there.
Mhm.
Uh, so the business aspect of that is, I really take out the middleman because, being an independent artist, you pretty much kind of, there's, the other side of it, but, the main thing is everything goes through you. And I think I really like it that way.
Right. Well, I like it that way as well. And it's like, okay, so when it comes to pushing your own stuff, the way that things have changed so much for the music industry and
Right.
for people who have been in it so long, we've gone through that change. Pushing it is a lot different because back in the day, it used to be the record labels that would push it for us. We would just
Exactly.
have to focus on being productive as an artist, but now it's just so different. What have you had to adjust to, if at all anything, since then?
Well, yeah. So, of course, back when everything had to go through the labels, of course, that would have been before my time, but I still, knew, coming up that okay, yeah, I know that's exactly how it used to be. Everything was through the labels. You
Hmm.
couldn't do anything. Some people, artists' albums were getting shelved because the label didn't agree with it, or you couldn't
Exactly.
put out certain singles because the label didn't feel that that was the one to put out, and it was always a dispute. But by
Hmm.
being an indie artist, like I said, you take everything in your hands. I make sure that I put my stuff. Well, I go through distribution companies, so
Hmm.
they approve of my music, and I make sure that I get my music on any type of streaming or whatever platform possible
Hmm.
around the country. Period.
Hmm.
That's what I would tell anybody who's an independent artist and coming trying to come up. Make sure that you're getting yourself on every single thing. It doesn't matter what it is, you know.
Right.
Um, and that's the way that you really push yourself. You constantly feed music, constantly promote yourself, just constantly just do it. Just get out
Hmm.
there and do it. Being from Chicago, everybody knows if you're from Chicago, you already have, the hustler and grinding mentality where you just, you get out and you do what you need to do and you just keep pushing. And this is, I'm late in the game, but this is still like the beginning for me. I'm steady grinding and I'm steady pushing. And that's basically, the way, that operates. It's an
Yeah.
everyday thing,
Wow. I love that. It is a grind. It is a
most definitely.
push. It is a grind. It is a push. What is the hardest thing that you've had to face being an independent artist, being out there on your own, being having to grind and push? What is that one thing that you don't want to do, but you definitely, if you don't do it, it's just not, your career just won't do anything?
Well, the connecting and networking with people to even get your name out there so people can even know who you are. That's one of the things because without the strong resources, you know, via the record labels or whatever the case may be, and without that extra push of promotion, you're the self promoter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's other things and other people that may be behind you, but of course, it wouldn't be, like the record labels. I think that's the thing of
Right.
wanting to get and wanting to push and do what you have to do to get yourself out there and, get eyes and get ears into your music. That's the thing. Because even if you take too much time off or even minimal time off, I mean, you can start to sink very, very fast. So this is a constant push, a constant thing. And I think that's one of the things that, that's kind of a struggle, because you want people to really listen. Because nowadays, I know it's different from back then. Back then, there
Mhm.
were actual albums that you had to actually sit down and wait for and listen to. Now everybody gets everything so quickly, and the attention span is so short, and it's just different nowadays. It's just
Yeah.
so now, and I think that's one of the difficult things is getting people to really pay attention. I had so many people come to me and say, "Man, I didn't know you was rapping like that. I didn't know you was flowing like that," because they didn't actually take the time to listen. I think that's one of the main things with me too. Is just trying to get people to just be patient. Just listen to one song. A lot of people just want to skim through a whole album, and they didn't really pick up on certain things. And I think that's one of the frustrating things being an artist. But I'm finding my way to push through that. It's
Mhm.
just a growth, like I said. So
Definitely, definitely. And you're so right. I get so criticized. It's like, okay, look, you don't have a job, they tell me. You have a dream job. And it's like, dream job? You're
yeah,
kidding me, right? You're kidding me. I mean, you don't think this is a job? You don't think that this is a struggle? You don't think that this is like, oh no, because all you do is sing and you perform and you have such a good time. And
exactly.
it's like, okay, wait. So what is it like for you really? I mean, what does your
Yeah,
day consist of that would just shut people up and give them the
right.
second thought of being an entertainer?
Yeah. So from the outside looking in, some people will be like, okay, well, he's got it kind of good because all he has to do is just, chill out and sit back and make music. He's doing his
Mhm.
passion, and he's making a little money, whatever the case may be, and that's fine. But what you don't know is the hours and hours of being up and restless nights, and because I write and produce all of my stuff, so I'm on the computer for hours and hours, and then I got to network for hours and hours and hours, and then I got to try to go here, go there, and try to get my name out here just to get enough listeners on my music, so I can you know make this my career, or make this my
Mhm.
job, however you want to look at it, and the stress aspect of it, you know of the not knowing is very stressful because, like I said, if you can plummet real fast if you don't keep that grind. And then now I'm out here, trying to do, a 9 to 5, just like the next man, plus trying to do what my passion is. So now I got the double thing going on. So I think that's what the people don't see. They don't get that grind part and the stress part that you have to do. They just see
Mhm.
that you just get to sit back and perform, or you get to sit back and just do your music or whatever you do. And I have to get out here and get up at scheduled hours and this and that. So those
Yeah.
are kind of things that that kind of miss. But hey, what can I say? If they're not in your shoes and they're not there to see that type of grind,
Hmm.
I guess
No,
you
they're not.
really want. You so
They're not. No, they don't get it. They don't get
right,
it. And it's sad because, we do a lot. Now, in terms of your music, and you're paying for your recordings, you're doing the mixing, you're doing the mastering, you're doing the pictures, you're doing the album cover, you're doing the copies, you're getting the duplicates, you're sending it all out. I mean, they don't get that. They don't get that part of it. And then the marketing on top of all of that.
yeah.
What advice do you have for those people who are coming up after you, who want to be performers, who want to do what you do? What would you tell them?
I will say that you need to put your whole heart into it. Your blood, your sweat, your tears. Don't let nothing stop you. And I mean, you got to be willing to sacrifice. I think that's one of the biggest words that people need to understand is the sacrifice. You know, it takes money to make money also.
Mhm.
You gotta have some resources too. I wanna be realistic. Um, you gotta put your all into it. I mean, that's the main thing. If you're not willing to to give up, go put in those restless nights. If you're not willing to sacrifice, you know, um, just be willing to sacrifice anything just to make this happen. I would advise that this is probably something that you wouldn't want to do. And really depends on how far you're trying to go with it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so you just gotta grind. You gotta be willing to do whatever it takes and have that, nothing can stop me mentality. You
Yeah.
got to have, that's the only way, you can succeed because it's not easy. I don't want anybody to be fooled into thinking that it's easy. I know um, some people get lucky. There are some, hot streaks that you can hit where, it can make, seem like it is easy, but for the most part, it's not. It's definitely a grind. So that's advice, I would give. Put your all in and be willing to sacrifice.
Yeah,
Don't let
right.
no one.
No, you gotta be willing to sacrifice. Yes, you're right.
Most definitely.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's just it just kind of
No,
hit
yeah,
me. It hit
yeah,
me.
you got to. I mean, that's really to my heart, and have some good content. I know we living in a day and age where, unfortunately, I I don't want to down the rap industry or whatever, but I know content has changed, and sometimes you really don't even have to have talent, unfortunately. But whatever you're doing, whatever your lane is, just stay in that and just keep pushing and just be willing to go all in. So,
Hmm. Definitely. So, with everything that you have a new single out. Before we get to that, how can people reach you?
well, the best way possible is through Instagram. So, my Instagram is that's THE _official _ and CBZ. That's the _official _ CBZ. And
Awesome.
if you don't see a blue verified check mark by my name, then you at the wrong account. There's only one CBZ, so make sure you look out for that.
Nice, nice. Well, tell me about your new single that you got out right now. I'm excited for people to hear it. So, before we
Right.
play it and we finish, the interview part of this and put on the music, please tell people about it.
Okay. So actually, the single is off my album that's out right now, entitled "In My Eyes," and the single is called "Love," LUV with a question mark. Um, reason why I named it, "Love" with a question mark because in this single I kind of go in briefly on a small backstory of me not really understanding what love is and getting bad examples of what love is, and me expressing that I
Mm,
don't believe in it. I briefly touch on some examples that my mom and dad, when they were together, some of the things that I seen that made me feel like this is not what love is supposed to be like. What is love? And then I go into a personal relationship with my child's mom on certain things that occurred that I felt like that's another bad example of what love is. So what is love? This can't be, what it is. I don't believe. So, those that's really kind of two of the main topics that I'm, kind of expressing, in this track. So yes, you know, it's lyrics and I'm actually talking about something, so, I would really, you know, love it
mm,
if, people really sit down and, kind of listen to it and view it and, see if they get out of it on their own.
definitely. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you so
I
much for
appreciate
bringing
it.
your music and being like my fellow brother from Chi Town. What's up? Yay!
Yes, yes.
Couldn't help that. Couldn't help it.
Represent.
Well, thank you again so much for being on the show. I am
Appreciate
so
it.
CBZ, thank you. I got that right. See, I know. See, I was waiting for it.
It didn't take any time at all. You got
No,
it.
no. Well, here we go, guys. We're going to put on that single for you. But before we do, please go into our description box below this interview, grab and paste that information into your browser so you can go ahead and follow CBZ on Instagram. Yes, be a support. And not only that, thank you again so much for tuning in. CBZ, thank you so much for being on the show. And here is the song. Go ahead and introduce your song, brother.
Well, this is my single from my up and coming album, In My Eyes, entitled Love. Check it out.
Shit weighing heavy on my brain, man. I probably need a minute or two, you know what I'm saying, to vent. You don't hear a little something about that 4-letter word, it's just, I don't really identify with it, feel me? Shit, it's a lot of shit I see, but like, what the fuck is love? I don't know. I remember I was just a little kid. I watched my parents fight like that's just how it is. Yeah, that's normal. Until the day I saw my daddy slap my mama. It made me feel like there was no hope for tomorrow. This can't be what love's like. My innocence was stripped from me in one night. Y'all was the worst examples for a child. Every day another fight, y'all was fucking wild. Fuck wrong with y'all? And that affected my relationships. That's probably why I treat women like they ain't shit. That's for real. And that guilt falls on both of y'all. And that love shit, I don't believe at all. Man. I done seen family backstab family. This can't be how it is when you love someone. And I sit as a child and I think like, damn, somehow, some way we gon' overcome. This how, you know what I'm saying, love is supposed to be shown. Like, what the fuck, man? This can't be how it is when you love someone. That shit crazy as hell, man. Some of the shit I done seen, it's just somehow, some way we gon' overcome. And I remember my first seed. It gave me new eyes, new lungs to breathe. Until the day you took away from me, I lost all faith in the piece of me. And that was my firstborn. You taking anger out on kids, what the fuck you on? You don't think she need the both of us? You ain't have your dad, so you don't give a fuck. And that's a cycle that you could've changed. Instead you put your child through a lot of pain. This can't be love, this can't be life. This gotta be more, this can't be right. Can't be right. And I done had motherfuckers stare me in my face and this can't be how it is when you love someone. That, you know what I'm saying, they love you. And you know they die for you, but somehow, some way we gon' overcome. And the next breath, you know, motherfuckers stab you in your back. This can't be how it is when you love someone. Shit, I don't think I can believe none of that shit. I done seen enough, for real. Somehow, some way we gon' overcome.
I did to be different.